The web is a very complicated place. There's so much going on out there. It's impossible to make sense of it sometimes. To figure out what does what, how it works with that, and what you should do. It's overwhelming. A very wise person once told me about the concept of a playground, where a playground that's completely surrounded by busy roads, cars, trucks going by, and there's a playground in the middle. And because of all the scary traffic, all the kids kind of congregate to the middle of the field, to the middle of the playground, and they feel safe there. That's what they know. They don't really know what's out there, so they stay safe. And but by putting up a fence around the playground, all of a sudden the kids feel great. They feel confident. They feel like they can run around and run right up to the fence. It expands their playground enormously, and their fun. And so, and they can even climb the fence and taunt the traffic. Well, if you use that analogy toward the world of social media, what are the fences? What is it that'll help you feel safe? What makes it safe are categories. Organizing the web, the complexity of the web, the social web, into categories that help you understand the major media that are being employed here. Sure, there's a lot more outside the fence, but we're going to establish a perimeter here, and which will allow you to move on and basically feel safe enough to play around and understand all this stuff. And basically the taxonomy of the social web, in my book, falls into several major categories. I'm not sure everyone agrees with these categories. You can make up your own categories, but whatever helps you to manage all of this clutter on the web. So all of the stuff I'm about to go over is free. I'm going to mention the categories, and I'll give examples that fall under each category. But there are paid platforms or tools that you can purchase, of course, that will add value to that. They'll do more, basically. But these are really powerful. They're amazing. Some of you may be familiar with some of them and know, that's pretty amazing. So try these first, and if they're not quite right for you, then you'll want to bump up to probably pay for them. And some of them aren't very expensive. Some are wildly expensive. There's a whole range. So you want to look into that if you're really getting serious about a business and and want to invest that kind of capital. So the first category I'm going to mention is publishing. Publishing to me is basically something you wrote and you put up on the web. Now that could be a blog, or it could be a place like Scribus or something where you're sharing documents, or Isu is another one where you're sharing documents. Like they're kind of like the PDF of the web, where you're writing something and then you're sharing it up here, like scholarly articles and those sorts of things. But for the most part, I think of publishing as blogging, where something like WordPress or Blogger, where you're basically writing about a specific topic, something. Maybe you could be blogging about just your life or something, and that's fine. But maybe you're actually have some interest that people are actually following you and listening to what you have to say because they share the interest, and they also not only share the interest, but they actually share the blog piece, which is what makes it social. They can actually spread that all over the web for other people to see and read too. So it expands your reach quite a bit. So that's what I call publishing. So that's one category. Another one is social networks. Social networks, we all pretty much know, are things like Facebook, which is really for friends, but it's getting more and more for other things like business, which I'll talk about in a second. And then there's LinkedIn, which is a real business networking site where everybody gets to know everybody, and you basically grow your network, and there's a lot of community building going on, and there's a lot of discussion groups, and it's really a lively site. It's not about just putting your name in there and hoping somebody calls you. It's not that at all. It's about networking. And MySpace is another one where it kind of started off as music, still kind of is a lot about music, and but it's still around. And High Five and Orkut, those are other social networking sites that people are using in this country, but they're also extremely popular on the outside. Facebook tends to be everywhere. I've been all over the world. I've been to Thailand, Singapore, South America, everywhere, and they're all using Facebook. I think over there they tend to have, one of each. They tend to have whatever is hot for the local people, but they also have Facebook because it is so international. Another category would be microblogging. So microblogging is a place where you can only write really short little posts. Twitter is one of those. Tumblr is also one of those. Tumblr, you can write longer things, but people tend to write very short bursts on Tumblr. Bam, get it out there. But you can get longer than Twitter. You can share a quote, a photo, all sorts of things. It kind of looks like a blog, but it tends to be very quick and moves right down the page. Twitter, you can only write 140 characters. And it's often used to drive traffic or attention. It's to a website or to your blog. It's more, sure, you can also just share a lot of different information and really cool things with people who share your interests. You can definitely do that. People have tended to be against Twitter because they think it's really about people just talking about inane stuff like what they ate for breakfast or something like that. And sure, there are people out there who write about that, and there are people who care about what they have to say. Maybe just not you. But also Twitter has grown up to become this powerful networking tool for building up your influence on the web. And so don't count it out. We're going to talk a lot more about Twitter, but those are microblogging sites. A fourth category would be what I call visual tools. Visual tools are places where you post visual media like videos and photos. So, Flickr is an online community where you can post your photography, have albums there, and all sorts of things. But it's more than just showcasing your work. It's a living, breathing social networking site in a way where people are actually talking about each other's photography and sharing it all. And it's a great way to get known as a photographer. But you can also take your photos that are on Flickr and pop them into your blog and stuff. And again, that's what makes it a social networking site. Same with YouTube. Pop it up there. People can follow you. You can have discussion groups, all sorts of things with video places like YouTube and Vimeo. Another category would be collaboration tools. Wikipedia is an example of a collaborative environment where lots of different people are contributing to the writing of that post. It's not just yours. And so wikis are great for school teachers, anybody who wants to collaborate and share work with a class or a group of people or any of that sort of thing. Google has a whole suite of tools that do this. You can, Google Documents being its most popular, where you can all be crafting a document. You can even be collaboratively writing a story on Google Documents. So a document's online and lots of other people can come in and edit that document. And it's powerful. They also have spreadsheets that work that way, and you can plot charts with them and all sorts of things. So those are collaboration tools.